Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Dante Toro, and today I'm going to be ranking every single Royal Rumble winner in history. Over the last few weeks to a month, I have went back and rewatched every single Royal Rumble in history. I made a video where I ranked every single match, but this time I'm just gonna simply rank every single winner. Let me know in the comments who you think are the greatest Royal Rumble winners and also the worst of all time. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let's jump into it. The first Royal Rumble we have is the 1988 one, the very first one in existence, won by Hacksaw Jim Duggan. There were only 20 people in this match, so not really star-studded, not a lot of options to choose from. I know it's the first one. I know Hacksaw Jim Duggan isn't the biggest name in the world, but it was a feel-good moment. Hacksaw Jim Duggan was a fan favorite. People liked it. And again, there weren't many people to choose from here. Bret Hart, Ultimate Warrior, and Jake the Snake Roberts were in the match, but this wasn't even for a championship at the time, so it really didn't mean much. So giving it to Hacksaw Jim Duggan, I'm gonna put him in good because I think it was a good winner. 1989, Big John Studd won this one in a Royal Rumble that was a little bit more star-studded. You had guys like Hulk Hogan, Ted DiBiase, Randy Savage, Andre the Giant, Jake Roberts, and Mr. Perfect. This match, to me, when I was watching it, felt like Andre was going to be the winner here, or that's what they were leading towards. Hulk and Randy Savage were good options too, but they got eliminated early on. Big John Studd, nothing against the guy, but I know it still wasn't for like a championship match or a main event of WrestleMania, nothing like that, but I don't know, just kind of anticlimactic, and I thought they would have given it to a bigger name that was in the match. Speaking of bigger names that was in the match, 1990, Hulk Hogan wins this. Excellent. This was the very first star to win the Royal Rumble match. It was 1990. Hulk Hogan was greater than God at this time. He was the face of the planet Earth, really. Say what you want about the guy now, but back in the 90s, I mean, he was larger than life, and it makes sense why they gave him the win here. Also set up his match with the Ultimate Warrior. It was a champion versus champ, title versus title, so it was a good win for him. Back to back, Hulk Hogan, 1991. I'm gonna knock him down a few slots here and put it in terrible. I really didn't like Hulk Hogan winning this. Because one, it was very predictable. Earlier in the night, Sergeant Slaughter had won the WWE Championship, so it was written on the wall that Hulk Hogan, the real American, is gonna come in, win the belt from Slaughter. Feel good story, but I thought it was just an underwhelming Rumble overall. Easy win back to back, give it to him, but very underwhelming. 1992, the furthest thing from underwhelming, Ric Flair making his WWE debut, WWF debut, and winning the WWE Championship in the Royal Rumble, because that's what this match was for. Ric Flair just was presented as, and he was a star going into this, but they really just blew the roof off the place by making him look like the biggest star in the match. I'm not the biggest fan of how it ended. It was Sid and Hogan. I think Sid eliminated Hogan. Hogan helped Flair eliminate Sid, something like that. It was very kind of an anticlimactic, stupid ending to a really good Rumble match, and arguably the best of all time. That doesn't ruin it for me. Ric Flair came in at number 3 and won the WWE Championship in his debut. That's baller. That's some GOAT shit right there, and that's why he is in the GOAT tier list. Before I move on to 1993, I should also point out the different tiers that we have. We have the GOAT tier, excellent, good, meh, terrible, and why? What were we thinking? Why are we doing this? Similar but different rankings from the match one, which if you haven't checked out yet, you should check out after this video. But moving on to 1993, the very first Rumble, where the winner gets a world title shot at WrestleMania, won by Yokozuna. And yes, he's a believable winner. I mean, look at him. He is a big dude. How are you gonna eliminate him? But I thought him winning was very meh. The Undertaker was in there, he got a huge pop, and then Giant Gonzalez came in and took him out. You had Ric Flair again, you had Mr. Perfect, Bob Backlund lasted. I think he lasted a while here, I could be wrong. I also hated the ending where Randy Savage went to pin him, and then Yokozuna just threw him off from eliminating. I'm putting it in meh because he's a believable winner, but I really, this was one of my least favorite Rumble matches. Bret Hart and Lex Luger are the co-winners of the 1994 Royal Rumble, and for that, I'm putting them in good. I think these are two solid choices to win. Clearly, they couldn't decide who they wanted to win over the other, so they gave it to both. Both men ended up getting a world championship shot at WrestleMania. First, it was Lex Luger, and then Bret Hart later in the night. Bret Hart is the one that ended up winning, so I guess it did work out for one of them. Diesel had a very dominant performance here, and I kind of thought at one point maybe he could have won. You had Owen Hart, Diesel, Savage, Bam Bam Bigelow, and Shawn Michaels, who had a great performance, but Bret Hart, Lex Luger, the two big stars, led to one of them winning a championship. It works for me. Speaking of Shawn Michaels, 1995 Royal Rumble, we are getting our second GOAT Royal Rumble winner. Oh, nope, GOAT, not excellent. Shawn Michaels is better than excellent. He starts at number 1. Him and British Bulldog starting at 1 and 2. This Rumble was built around Shawn and the Bulldog. There was really no one else in the match that you believed would win it besides either one of them. I love the way Shawn won the match by throwing Bulldog over after Bulldog thought he eliminated him. They started playing his music and everything. It was a really cool moment. Sets up Diesel and Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania. Shawn Michaels, I know we call him Mr. WrestleMania, but Mr. Royal Rumble is on the table because, my God, what a performance by him. And if you thought 1995 was good, 1996 was also good, but not as good. I think this one was excellent. Again, Mr. Royal Rumble, the MVP of Royal Rumble matches, his near eliminations, the selling, the theatrics, it is unmatched. The match itself was kind of boring. The last few minutes was fine, but Shawn Michaels gets 2 years in a row. He gets Bret Hart at WrestleMania, setting up that match. You don't really have that many believable winners, again, like the year before. A little bit more this time around because you had guys like Triple H who had a good showing. Yokozuna was in there again. Vader, Owen Hart, Diesel, British Bulldog, Ringmaster who got eliminated early. Could you have gone with someone else here? Maybe, but Shawn Michaels going back to back was huge, felt important, and again, you give him the match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania. That's the most important thing. Stone Cold Steve Austin, 1997, joining Shawn Michaels and Ric Flair in the GOAT tier. This was as big of a star-making performance as a star-making performance could be. He got eliminated early last year, a big mess up, wasn't supposed to get eliminated, was supposed to make it to the Final Four, I believe. Made up for it this year, 10 eliminations from the 5 spot, checking his watch, lying down the ring, waving guys in. He won the match, which didn't lead to a world title match at WrestleMania. There was a whole thing that happened, was in a match in your house, lost that one, ended up facing Bret Hart at WrestleMania in one of the best wrestling matches ever. Stone Cold lost to Bret, but it was the infamous double turn. I think that match did better for Steve Austin than any world title match could have at that time. So with everything that happened afterwards and how he looked in that match, this is an easy GOAT tier for Steve Austin. And I hate to say it, Steve Austin goes back here, but it really wasn't. It was kind of an interesting Rumble where Steve Austin was getting hyped up as he's not coming out, then he finally does somewhere in the 20s. Him and The Rock were the biggest stars in this match by a mile. And there really wasn't a point where between them hyping him up and then him coming in, or I believed anyone else was gonna win. The Rock would have been good here. That's fine. He's a star, you know, on the cusp of becoming who he became. But Steve Austin's a safe pick. Nothing crazy, but it was good. I'm just gonna put that there. Why? Vince McMahon won the 1999 Rumble. Steroids, juiced up out of his mind, no question about it. The whole bit was built around Austin at 1, McMahon at 2. It was a cat and mouse chase. At one point, Austin was in the hospital for a while because McMahon had guys beat him up in the girls' bathroom, and then Austin was trying to fight off everyone while McMahon was doing commentary, and McMahon ended up winning. Vince McMahon should have never won this Royal Rumble. He should have never won any Royal Rumble for that matter. It was nice to see The Rock win this one in 2000 though. You have guys like Austin, Shawn, Hogan, all these guys that have won the Royal Rumble match. And it just feels like The Rock he's right there. Give him the Royal Rumble win, give him that extra nod, adding to his accolades at the time. This felt important, even though the ending was a little, The Rock kind of got eliminated. Not kind of, he did get eliminated before the big show, but feel a good moment. Everyone was cheering for The Rock. Big name star, giving it to him here. I was fine with it. And I think the 2001 Royal Rumble is not only the best Royal Rumble match of all time, but arguably has the best winner. Stone Cold Steve Austin winning his 3rd Royal Rumble match, joining himself in the GOAT tier because this is, like I said, one of the best, if not the best, Royal Rumble matches of all time. They made Austin feel so big when he won this. They made Kane feel like the biggest star in the world in this match. And the ending between Austin, Rock, and Kane was so good. Triple H beating the shit out of Steve Austin to make it even more like of a, not like an underdog story. It's Stone Cold Steve Austin, he ain't no underdog. But they made it a little bit more believable of, oh, he got destroyed here. Like, how is he gonna win? He finds a way to win. Him eliminating Kane, hitting him with stunners, chair shots, felt so great. Again, made Kane look like a motherfucking beast. Unbelievable win led to him and Rock at WrestleMania, as we all know. So perfect match. And although I don't think 2002 was a perfect match, I think it was a nearly perfect winner. It was a perfect winner. Triple H coming back from his injury as juiced up as ever. He looked way too big. This Rumble was pretty memorable. You had Maven eliminating The Undertaker. Stone Cold was, did Stone Cold stuff. Mr. Perfect return. You had guys like Angle, Austin, Perfect, and Triple H at the end, and obviously any of those guys, I know Perfect was a return, but any of those guys would have been a good winner. But Triple H built around his comeback story from his quad injury or whatever the hell it was, but coming back in his first match, winning the Rumble, I think that's GOAT shit right there. The 2003 Royal Rumble was actually a first for a few guys. Rey Mysterio, John Cena, Batista, and Brock Lesnar made their Royal Rumble debuts this match. And out of all those guys, Brock Lesnar was the one that came out victorious. I'm putting him in excellent. Brock Lesnar winning here I thought was good because we're working towards Brock being a star, but he wasn't a solidified star yet. You have guys like Austin, The Rock, Shawn, Hogan that you're giving these wins to, but now you're giving it to a young up-and-comer, former world champ, but you're building him up for the future. That's a huge thing to do. It's a huge moment for him, huge win. Could he be in GOAT? Maybe, but I'm gonna put him in excellent. I prefaced this before for my match video for 2004. We are talking about Chris Benoit here, the wrestler. We're not talking about him as a human being, a shitty human being that he is. In 2004, he started at #1 and won the entire thing. It was a crazy underdog story. He felt like a huge deal, especially since the Big Show eliminated like the 5 or 6 guys previously. So everyone at that point, including me, was thinking, how the hell is Chris Benoit gonna eliminate Big Show? How's he gonna do it? He did. I think there were a few other, big names in this match that could have won, but I'm gonna put the 2004 Rumble in GOAT. I know we've had a few put in the GOAT category the last few Rumbles, but I'm gonna keep it going here. 2005 Batista winning in a star-making performance. Him and John Cena came into this match looking like the biggest deals in the world, and they came out of this match feeling like they are next up. Both Batista and John Cena finished at the end. There was, as we all know, they both got eliminated at the same time, had to restart the match where Batista did win, but both of them were in World Championship matches at that year's WrestleMania. They both won the World Championship at that year's WrestleMania, but Batista winning this, it just felt like a huge deal, especially after the whole situation at the end. Maybe that helps bring it up a little bit because it's so memorable, but Batista became a star this night, so did Cena, and for that, this is going in the GOAT tier. And again, I'm sticking with the GOAT tier because Rey Mysterio coming in at #2, another true underdog story and winning this Rumble, going the entire way in the memory of the late and great Eddie Guerrero. You had other believable winners in there like Orton, like Triple H, and a few other guys, but giving it to Rey, it felt right. It was right. The crowd was supporting him the entire way. The ending felt it was so emotional. It was so great. Rey Mysterio, easy S tier for me. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know if it's like a nostalgia thing or it's like I have a little bit of bias because this was like my wheelhouse when I started watching wrestling, but The Undertaker winning in 2007 is going in the GOAT tier, the first winner at #30, and although he didn't last the longest, he wasn't an Iron Man, him and Shawn Michaels had a one-on-one match basically at the end of the Rumble, foreshadowing their future classic matches at WrestleMania, 2 of the greatest matches of all time. Shawn could have became the second person to win 3, but Undertaker had never won a Royal Rumble at that point. No one had ever won at #30, and it is funny because both these guys did get World Championship matches at WrestleMania anyways, but Shawn got the actual main event by challenging John Cena for the WWE Championship. Doesn't matter. Undertaker, from the second he came in, was a baller, cleaned house, looked like a monster, looked like one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So did Shawn Michaels. That's why it's in the GOAT tier here. Undertaker, performance of a lifetime, even if it was like 10, 15 minutes. And I promise you guys, this is the last GOAT one for a little bit, but how can I not put John Cena winning in 2008 here in the GOAT tier, returning at #30, arguably the biggest return in wrestling history, arguably the biggest moment in wrestling history. Comes back from an injury after 2 or 3 months. No one thought he was gonna be there. It was supposed to be an injury that kept him out up to a year or so. You could have had a handful of guys win this because it was so star-studded, but giving it to John Cena, returning after injury was perfect. 2009, we're moving on from the GOAT category. I'm actually gonna add Randy Orton to the excellent because I really did enjoy this Royal Rumble. The whole thing was built around Legacy versus Triple H. Literally the entire match was about those guys. They came in pretty early, so it was for a majority of the match. They ended up fighting at WrestleMania that year. There were a few things that happened in between. Triple H was not the world champ at the time of the Rumble. Randy Orton, though, did feel huge here, winning in 2009. First Rumble win, first heel Rumble win since Vince McMahon in 1999, actually. So nice little fun fact there. 2010 saw the return of Edge for the first time. And Edge, he was an excellent winner. There were a few guys here. You had Cena and Batista at the end with Edge. Chris Jericho was in there for a little bit. CM Punk had his Straight Edge Society bit going on, which was great. But the story, really the biggest story about this match or going into it, was Shawn Michaels desperately trying to win because he wanted to challenge The Undertaker at WrestleMania for the World Heavyweight Championship. That would have been the only way for him to get a rematch against Taker. Taker wouldn't just give him a match. Although Shawn could have definitely won this, I think Edge was a good feel-good win. Returning from injury, he eliminated Chris Jericho, who he was partners with when he got hurt at the time, last eliminating Cena, so that made it feel even bigger. Truthfully, 2011 is not a good Rumble for me. I'm going to put it in meh. I'm between meh and terrible. Alberto Del Rio, this match did turn him into a main eventer, obviously, won the Royal Rumble, got a WrestleMania match, but 40 men was far too many. This match just dragged out. He eliminated Santino at the end, which was funny, but I don't know. I wasn't really all for Alberto Del Rio. I wasn't really pushing for him at the time, but again, it made him into a main eventer, so that it did the trick there. Meh winner for me. And meh winners, I feel bad. Again, I'm teetering between meh and terrible, but I'm gonna put Sheamus in meh because I feel bad for him. The biggest names in this match besides Sheamus who won were Randy Orton, Chris Jericho, and The Big Show. And all three of those guys came in at the very end at 28, 29, and 30. This was like a mid-card Royal Rumble, to be completely honest with you. Apparently Chris Jericho was supposed to win this, but too many people found out or got spoiled or something, so they gave it to Sheamus instead. I think Chris Jericho did get a WWE Championship match, which was actually like closer to the main event than Sheamus at least. I mean, it worked out for both. Again, an instance where the last two get championship matches, but Sheamus won the mid-card Royal Rumble. I would put it in terrible, but I feel bad for the guy, so I'm gonna put it in meh. John Cena in 2013 was so unbelievably predictable, but I'm still gonna put it in good because it's John Cena. It's a star. He didn't like come in at the end and last like, only 5 minutes or anything. He lasted a good amount. He ended up winning, which led to him fighting The Rock at WrestleMania in their second in a lifetime match. Not their once in a lifetime. They did it again a year later, believe it or not. At least they waited for The Rock to win later in the night, so it wasn't too or as predictable as it could have been. Still was predictable. Here's the thing with the 2014 Royal Rumble. I don't think it's the worst ever. I'm gonna put it in terrible. I could have even put it in meh, because honestly, Batista is not a bad winner. It's just clouded by the match itself and who could have won and the story going into it. Everyone wanted Daniel Bryan to win. He wasn't even in the fucking match. You know what? Actually, I'm gonna bump this up to meh because Batista's a believable winner. Going into the match, it was the story of Batista wanted to challenge Randy Orton. They have history from their old Evolution days, main event one-on-one at WrestleMania, and they've never had that match. I think the build-up was fine. It was just Daniel Bryan was in the mix and everyone wanted Daniel Bryan. Should Daniel Bryan have won the match? Probably, but he wasn't even in the match. Batista was. He removed the dark cloud from everything, and I think we look at Batista as the Royal Rumble winner and say, meh. Moving on to 2015, I will give it to you guys here. This is probably the worst Royal Rumble ever, very much so. Not only just the match, but the winner itself. There is just no excuse for what happened here. Daniel Bryan, you put him in the match, which is an upgrade over the year before, but then you eliminate him after not even 10 minutes. And then the fans hijack the match. You try to have Roman Reigns have this big moment of, a star-making performance, winning the Rumble, going on to main event WrestleMania. You had The Rock come out to help him. Even The Rock couldn't save it. It was just an awful booking decision. They were pushing the wrong guy. People were rejecting Roman. This was the start of Roman Reigns' downfall. And let me tell you something, because of this night and everything that followed over the next 4 to 5 years, all the shitty booking decisions, he deserved that 3.5, 4-year title run. I know like towards the end we were getting sick of it, but looking back at Roman Reigns' history, he deserved it. In the 2016 Royal Rumble, I think the match itself was fine. It was for the WWE Championship, so that raised the stakes a little bit more, made it feel more important. But honestly, I thought AJ Styles is in the picture for some reason. Triple H won this match. I thought that was stupid because it also plays in the whole Roman Reigns story, right? Of they want to build up Roman as this big star. So by doing that, they have him lose to a returning 40-something-year-old Triple H in the Royal Rumble and then main event WrestleMania against him in what was probably the worst WrestleMania main event in history. That's hindsight 2020, but how did we not know in the moment that this wasn't gonna work out? There were a few other guys that you could have given the belt to here, like Brock Lesnar, Dean Ambrose, I think even Chris Jericho could have won this match. He lasted 51 minutes. I can't believe Chris Jericho never won a Royal Rumble, by the way. The story of Triple H and Roman, I understand it going into the match, and people kind of figured Triple H was going to return. It wasn't really a huge surprise at number 30. You could have picked someone else, whether it was to challenge Roman or have Roman challenge, or just to get Roman away from the championship picture. I think having Triple H, almost 50-year-old Triple H, come in and win a Royal Rumble and win the WWE Championship on top of it is terrible. I don't think it's the worst thing that they've ever done, and that's why it's not in the bottom tier, but this was a very questionable and terrible booking decision. 2017 was better. I'm actually going to put it in good. This was won by Randy Orton in a pretty big Royal Rumble match, honestly. Earlier in the night, John Cena won his 16th World Championship. We might be seeing him win the 17th at some point this year, but John Cena wins his 16th World Championship. Orton wins the Rumble. Are we seeing Orton Cena at WrestleMania? Turns out we didn't, but there was a lot of possibilities over who Orton could have faced. It was one of those winners that was like, oh, okay, Orton wins. Like, what match is he gonna have? There was no like, you knew who he was gonna go after. To me, at least, it wasn't really predictable. I thought there were a few guys in here that really could have won. Chris Jericho, I'm gonna mention him again. I think he could have definitely won this and challenged KO at WrestleMania for the Universal title. What they ended up doing instead was tragic. I thought Randy is a safe pick to win here, his second Royal Rumble victory. 2018 is arguably the greatest Royal Rumble in history. I put it on the GOAT tier for the Royal Rumble match video as well. WWE pulled the trigger on a non-star, and I love that because Shinsuke Nakamura was a former NXT champion but hadn't done anything on the main roster at that point. The fans loved him, and considering that they had him eliminate both John Cena and Roman Reigns to win the match, felt so huge. And it is a fucking shame that Shinsuke Nakamura didn't win at WrestleMania, that they didn't capitalize it at all. It's not even like they had him lose at Mania and then win the next match and just get the championship in a non-WrestleMania event. They didn't even have him beat AJ once. They didn't even have him win the championship. So tragic. Don't understand why they didn't capitalize on that moment. Still one of the best Rumbles ever. Still one of the best winners of all time because that moment was so big. Again, eliminating Roman at the end. If you eliminate Roman, it's a cheat code. Everyone's gonna go crazy for you. I love that match and winner. And for the first time ever, we have the Women's Royal Rumble here in 2018, won by Asuka. This is, again, incredible winner, but how the fuck does she not win at WrestleMania? She was unstoppable. She was unbeatable. She was undefeated. Going into this match, going into WrestleMania, WWE and Triple H and NXT they tried so hard to build up Asuka to be this unbeatable force, this streak and everything, just for her to win the Rumble, get overshadowed by Ronda at the end, who came in after Asuka won and everything, pointing at the sign, then to go to WrestleMania and then lose to Charlotte. Not even just losing, but tapping out. Did it make sense? The match was great. I think I put it in excellent for the all-time Rumbles, but Asuka winning was the perfect first winner for the Women's Royal Rumble match. It's just a shame they didn't do anything with her and Shinsuke after this at the next WrestleMania. 2019 Men's Royal Rumble won by Seth Rollins. I'm putting him in excellent. The picture is Randy Orton RKOing Nia Jax. This was a really good babyface underdog story. Seth came in at number 10, lasted 43 minutes, last eliminating Braun Strowman. I also didn't really think anyone was going to win this match besides Seth. It just seemed like a nice build-up for him. He hadn't been a world champ in 3 years at that point. He won the IC title the WrestleMania the year before. He's on a babyface run, setting up his underdog story against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. I thought this was an excellent choice, having Seth Rollins win the Royal Rumble match. And hey, what a night for the power couple. What a night for the married couple. Becky Lynch winning the Women's 2019 Royal Rumble and putting it in GOAT because the match wasn't fantastic, but Becky Lynch, the whole spot at the end of not Carmella, Lana not being able to enter the match. Becky Lynch taking her place. Nia Jax tried taking her out, and then it was her and Charlotte one-on-one. Becky eliminates Charlotte. This led to her main eventing WrestleMania 35 against Charlotte and Ronda Rousey, where she won, becoming a double champ. This was one of the best Rumble decisions ever, and also just one of the best moments in Rumble history. Becky coming in when she wasn't even announced for the match and winning the whole damn thing. Drew McIntyre. What a fucking winner. We have Edge as the picture here, but it's not Edge that won. Edge returned. But Drew McIntyre won the 2020 Royal Rumble match, became a star this night. Brock Lesnar did his thing where he started at number 1 as a WWE champion, eliminated everyone that was in front of him, set the record for most eliminations in a match, and then Drew McIntyre, with the help of Ricochet, eliminates Brock in what was one of the biggest eliminations, biggest moments in Royal Rumble history. This was, again, another non-star that won the Royal Rumble match, because although he was a former NXT champion, you know, Drew McIntyre just came back. He got released years ago, built himself back up on the indies, came back, and now he's working his way to the main event of WrestleMania by winning the Royal Rumble in what was star-studded, saw the return of Edge. You could have easily given Edge the win there. Why not for the big return? But they gave it to Drew. He is like one of the faces of the company right now, and it all started with this Rumble victory. Charlotte winning the 2020 Women's Royal Rumble was fine. I mean, she's a big name, and she hadn't won a Royal Rumble to that point, came up short the year prior. You could have had Shayna Baszler win it. Bianca Belair came in at number 2 and had a fantastic performance, had 8 eliminations. It's Charlotte. I think this is an easy way to put her on the card at WrestleMania. She actually challenged for the NXT Women's Championship, which was crazy. I think this was a fine win for Charlotte. The 2021 Royal Rumble won by Edge again for a second time. I'm putting in excellent. I think the 2 Royal Rumbles during the pandemic in the Thunderdome are honestly two of the best Royal Rumbles ever. Edge coming in at number 1, Randy Orton coming in at number 2, who is the one that injured Edge, which made him miss a couple months, which led to his return at the Royal Rumble. Edge and Randy Orton started the match, and they finished the match. And although they did like this injury angle where Edge took out Orton, so he was out for a lot of the match, it was still really cool seeing how it all played out. Edge takes out Orton. Orton comes in at the end, tries to screw over Edge, him with an RKO, but he ended up getting eliminated himself by Edge. This was also 11 years to the day exactly that Edge returned in 2010 and won the Royal Rumble after returning from injury. So 11 years later, returns from injury again and wins, this time coming in at number 1. And there were a few believable winners there. You had Daniel Bryan, Seth Rollins, Randy Orton, Braun Strowman, but they went with Edge here, and that was an excellent choice. An even better choice was Bianca Belair winning also in 2021, and I'm putting her in the GOAT here. We have a lot of GOAT winners, and maybe it might be too many. Winners in matches are different. I definitely did not. I only had 5 GOAT matches. I didn't have that many GOAT matches, but I think sometimes I get the winner right more than the match itself being good. But Bianca Belair, this is my list. I'm not going to justify who I put in GOAT and who I don't. This is my list. Bianca Belair belongs in the GOAT category, coming in at number 3, came in at number 2 the year before. This year at number 3, star-making performance. Her and Rhea being the final 2. You could have gone with either one here. We all knew she was on the trajectory of becoming a star, but this really cemented it. Her and Rhea as well, but loved this match, loved the winner. Couldn't have worked out better. Brock Lesnar in 2022 joined Vince and Roman. Joined the club because this was one of the worst Royal Rumble matches ever, if not the worst. And this was also just one of the stupidest, questionable Royal Rumble winning decisions ever. Brock Lesnar enters the match at number 30 after losing the WWE Championship earlier in the night to Bobby Lashley. He wanted to, he wasn't done for the night. He didn't want to go on his private jet and go home. He wanted to be a part of the Rumble match. Came in at number 30, lasted 2 minutes, eliminated everyone. It just was super underwhelming. Just for him to go into Elimination Chamber next month and win the WWE Championship, and then him and Roman had a title for title. Brock Lesnar clearly didn't need to win this match, but they had him win it anyways. Why WWE? Oh, I know why, because Vince McMahon was booking this, and this was his last Royal Rumble, thank God. And it also explains why Ronda Rousey won. And I'm putting her in terrible. I'm not going to put it in why. Sasha Banks didn't even last 10 minutes. She came in at number 1. She could have won this damn thing. Rhea, Bianca could have won this. It just was, I know you're setting up Ronda Charlotte at WrestleMania. I'm putting it in terrible because Ronda Rousey is a big name and it was a surprise return and everything, but it was terrible. Luckily for us, Triple H took over in 2023, and these Royal Rumble matches were amazing. Cody Rhodes, the first Royal Rumble win, I'm putting in excellent. Could I put this in GOAT? I can. But the reason why I'm putting him in excellent is because he came in at number 30. And I'm not trying to hold that against him. I wish, and I get it, he was coming back from injury his first match, but I do wish he had a longer run. I wish he was able to outlast some guys. I was thinking he was going to come in at like number 1 or 2 this year and be the Iron Man and win the whole thing. He didn't, but I do still think he was an excellent winner, obviously setting up his match with Roman that he lost. But as we know, a year later, I'm just gonna skip to the 2024 Men's Royal Rumble. As we know, a year later, Cody Rhodes goes back to back, and this, I believe, this one was a lot better. Not a lot better, but this one was better than the 2023 one because he didn't come in at number 30. And I believe this Royal Rumble was one of the most unpredictable ones in years because you had guys like Cody Rhodes, CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Gunther. You had a few other guys in there as well, but you had a bunch of believable winners in there. And the fact that Cody Rhodes survived the Final Four of Drew McIntyre, Gunther, and then surviving CM Punk one-on-one to win the match, point at Roman afterwards, which as we know now, set up some of the craziest few months in professional wrestling history. That's, not going to include this into why it's in the GOAT category, but it did lead to some incredible storytelling and matches. But I'm putting Cody Rhodes in the GOAT tier here because that was a GOAT win, and Cody Rhodes felt like a star of the year before, but after winning this one, it was like, okay, we are in the 9th inning. Cody Rhodes he has to finish the story. He has to finish the story. And we got the 2 Women's Royal Rumble matches left here from 2023 and 2024. I'm gonna put Rhea Ripley in the GOAT tier. She came in at number 1 with Liv at number 2. And for the first time ever in a women's match, the number 1 and 2 entrants lasted until the very end. Rhea was the correct choice here. You could have had Asuka, who returned and I think did have a championship match against Bianca that year anyways. You could have given it to Liv, who came in second, who started at second, came in second place. But Rhea Ripley, yes, former world champion and all that, but this really was okay, Rhea Ripley has arrived, and this was just such a huge moment, setting up her and Charlotte number 2 at WrestleMania. She could have picked Bianca, but went with Charlotte Flair, got her lick back from 2 years prior. And who knows, we might get a third one at WrestleMania this year. Every 2 years, it seems, we get Rhea Charlotte. And joining her is Bayley. Listen, no one deserved to win this match more than Bayley. She came in at number 3, lasted an hour and 3 minutes, breaking the record for longest time for a woman in the match. You had star after star after star. The last 8 women were Roxanne, Becky, Naomi, Bianca, Tiffany, Jade, Liv, and then Bayley. And then you had like Jordynne Grace was in there. You had another few like legends that returned, whatever. You had a few options, and the fact that they gave it to Bayley was huge. And again, she deserved it because she, for years, was putting people over, was being a true role model and a leader, but now she got her win, ended up winning at WrestleMania to become the new women's champion. No one deserved it more than Bayley. Set up a great year for her, and I couldn't have been happier that she won this Royal Rumble. Okay guys, there we have it. This is my tier list, my ranking of the greatest Royal Rumble winners of all time. We have a lot in the GOAT category. We have 18 of them, and looking at it, it is a lot. I didn't think I was gonna have that many in there, but honestly, like I talked through it all. I think all these winners deserve to be there. This is my tier list. Let me know what you would change and let me know who you think are the best and worst winners in Royal Rumble history. Before we get out of here, please make sure to like and subscribe. And again, put down in the comments your opinions on this list, your rankings, your favorite, your best, your least favorite, your worst winners in Royal Rumble history. I hope you enjoyed this. This didn't take as long as the match one, which I'm very grateful for, but I hope you enjoy this one anyway. Enjoy the Royal Rumble. I think this is coming out on Saturday, so the event should be tonight. Enjoy the Rumble. I'll see you guys. Peace out.